Very simple.
What's the handshake?
Residential.
We're just shaking hands?
Shake hands.
Crack my knuckles?
Yeah, just don't hurt yourself.
Oh my God.
You see?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to chat?
Let's do it.
Okay. You weren't here, but the Grizzlies lost their first 5 games. I'm sure you heard.
I did.
And then,
I watched some.
Yeah, great. They signed you from free agency. Then 4 days later, you're here, you're starting. 26 minutes, 11 rebounds in that one. We loved it. What did the beginning of the year look like for you? What were you doing?
What was I doing before signing the team? I was home enjoying my family, to be honest. And obviously, you know, I think during times where you're away from the game, you also take some time to do some personal growth, you know, day game, build a better relationship with God. But overall, you know, for me, it's just, you know, the most important thing for me has always been, you know, as a professional athlete, you always have to be in top shape whenever it's time to go, because you never want to come into a situation and it's like, well, maybe we need to play 10 minutes first, or maybe we need to play you 15 minutes and then walk your way up, you know. And thankfully, God has put the right people around me, my trainers. They've been great, both basketball and strength coach have been amazing. My chef have been incredible. So they make sure not only that I train right, but I also eat right. So
what was like a day in the life?
My good day?
Good day.
Every day is a great day for me. I'm alive.
So any day.
Any day.
What filled your time?
One, my training, also working for the union. It took a lot of my time, obviously, running some of my businesses. My foundation took a lot of my time as well, based on the things that we have to do back home. So try to stay busy. Can
you walk me through when you found out that the Grizzlies had the interest in you? Because it seemed like it happened like we knew the 5 games, we knew you were able to come at that time, but then It's like, boom, you're here, transition, you're a starter.
Well, we were kind of going back and forth. It was an ongoing conversation. It was just a matter of when and how things were going to unfold. I knew that maybe like 2-3 weeks into the season, I was signed, but it's just a matter of finding the right situation. And I think being patient and trusting God have played a huge role in my life, in my career. But it was just an ongoing situation back and forth between my agents and the organization. And I think the final agreements, I was just about to go into a workout. Then my agent called me. Then said, okay, just for a second, I got to call the team and then I'll call you right back. Like, man, I'm going to be late to my workout. I'm already here and I already have certain time. And then once we kind of got an agreement, it felt good, but also knowing that I was coming into a situation where the team was dealing with a bunch of injuries, and then you kind of had to figure out how to fit into a system, how to adapt faster. But again, like I said earlier, as a pro, you know, you have to stay ready for whatever is called and whatever is asked for you. And I think, you know, that's just me understanding the league and knowing where things are in the league and having faith in God. So
when that news first comes out and it comes out that you're here coming with the Grizzlies, how soon after did Jaren Jackson Jr. reach out to you?
You know, I didn't talk to any of them. I only talked during the negotiation. I did talk to Desmond Bain. Jaren Jackson Jr., we've been talking because of the union, you know. Him being a vice president and me being a vice president, we have always been in contact. We have a group text message or we all kind of chit-chat. So, but at the same time, you know, for me, it was just like, look, it's a great situation. You have a great group of guys that want to compete to win. And I think as an athlete, you always want a shot at, you know, knowing that you can get out there every night to compete. But compete to actually win, you know.
And you did, your first game. I don't count that first game, it was like 3 seconds. Like your first game was the first win.
Yes, yes. And I think it felt good just to see the smile into people's faces. And I think that's kind of what winning does sometimes, just put smile into so many people's faces. And that's just from people that work within the organization, people that we're around. How about the fans that we don't get to see how much smile we put in their faces, you know? So, I was just thankful to be out there with the guys competing and then try to focus on the next games and try to pull as many wins as we can.
You said you talked to Des, though. What did he say to you?
Des kind of tried to convince me, but, I am falling for Des stuff. He has tried to convince me on a lot of stuff. Nah, it was just giving me some insights on the team, to be honest, how the team has been, the mental, the spirit. I think you always want to know this and understanding what you're coming into. I did talk to Steve as well. I know Steve a long time ago, just to get some insight as well, understanding of the organization and knowing, the direction that the organization is heading.
And you said you were waiting for the right situation. Why was Memphis the right situation for you?
Why? I think, the past few years they have been, the top competing team in the league to compete for a chance to win a championship. But two is just that I think from competing against them, and you always see like you can bring something to the table, you can add something to it. And I think it was just the right situation for me as far as having a chance to compete every night, My agent and I went back and forth back when free agency opened. It's teams we didn't want to sign with because you just don't want to be in the league to be in the league. And as an athlete, sometimes you lose passion of the game if you're just getting out there to lose a game, just to be there, And I think if one thing that I've appreciated and admire in this league is to say, look, every day you have a chance to get out there and compete to win. You give your all, and the day you decide to stop playing basketball, you have joy within your heart that, like, the chances that I've got to get out there and compete for something, I was out there, whether I was in good health or not, but we all figure a way to win, and I think that's just a good feeling that comes out of that as an athlete, at least from my perspective, that you want to have. So that's really what I thought, like, this was a great situation, and obviously once we get everybody healthy, and I think we'll be even better. But right now, we just got to keep figuring things out and keep pulling these wins away and see when everybody get healthy.
You said because of the time that you've played against the Grizzlies, obviously it's been over a decade where you've played the Grizzlies, there was something that you could bring to the team. What is it on the court that you bring?
On the court, I think it's just my presence, honestly. I enjoy playing team basketball. I've always been a team player. And I think in general, when you look at our teams, we have guys that can do a lot of things. But at the same time, everybody are unique in their own way. And I think I'm unique in my own way. And obviously, improve our defense as well. I think it has been key. Like, Jaren is a great defender. If you can give him support as a defender, it'd be even better. And I think once you even get everybody healthy, you get Marcus as well. So when everybody are defending at a high level, you have at least 4 or 5 guys on the floor that can defend at that level. Your team is, it's separate from a lot of teams. So I think, at the end of the day, we could sit here and talk about, all the uniqueness that we have, but the only thing that matters is to win a basketball game. So as long as we do win a basketball game, I think I'll be fine with that.
We love the wins. I mean, you've experienced a home win now.
I do love the wins, too.
Okay, I've seen interviews where you talk about your family calling you a natural-born leader.
Yeah.
And even in your short time here and, like, my limited interaction, I've seen how much weight your word carries, like, with the younger guys. Off the court in Memphis, what do you think your role is with the team?
I think it's just you gotta, as a leader, you have to listen. You have to learn how to listen more than you talk, especially when it comes down to young guys, because they have so much to say. So much of the things they understand, they have seen, they know. So I think in my years of at least leading, starting my family, and then carrying into my career as a professional athlete, if one thing that I've learned is that we young guys, you gotta listen to them more than you talk, because as they talk, they'll give you a hint of what you need to change in them. So I think I've become more of a listener.
What have you learned about them?
I would love to tell you that, but I think some of them have trusted me just in my short time being here, that I think that, one, it's admiring for me to be able to listen and feel the trust. But at the same time, it's a responsibility.
Oh my God, I'm not asking for their secrets.
Yeah.
Like, give me all their secrets.
I can't give you that for sure, but...
Their credit card numbers?
No, that's even deeper.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
even have that. But, no, but I think, the biggest thing that you can implement, or at least that I've emphasized in young guys in circumstances like ours, for example, is that, one, you have to be positive when things are not going well, because when difficulty is hit, when hard times comes, it comes to basically check if you really are what you say you are. If you're a hard worker, are you really a hard worker? If you're a consistent player, are you really a consistent player? If you're a disciplined player, you're a disciplined player. Or you're gonna take that as an excuse to get away and, whatever, do the stuff that will take you or keep you away from the game. So, I think the biggest thing for me has always been and has been, you have to be positive, you have to work even harder, and you have to be extremely focused, because in times like this, especially for them, they could save games for us, and some of them have done it. Mm-hmm. They could change the game for us. Some of them have done it. But the beauty of it also is that we have the right coaching staff that continue to push them to get better, that continue to talk to them. It's an ongoing conversation every day. So it's not just that it comes from one guy. They receive information from different people, and then they're able to apply it. But also, with young guys, you have to choose. You can't talk to them every day. Eventually, they're going to get tired of your voice. You got to let them do their thing, and then, grab them and talk to them when it's necessary. Then they'll listen to you and have a fair conversation. And I think when you look at a team like ours, yes, we do have young guys, but they're also mature guys. You can't treat them like kids. They're grown men playing the NBA. They have responsibilities in their families. Mm-hmm. So you got to treat them the way that at least I would love to be treated, and I'll talk to them the way I would love to be talked to. And I think then they listen. But they're great kids, and I'm really excited to be part of their journey.
You're talking about, like, being that vet and being the older guy on a team of younger guys, but, like, you were at that level at one point, or, like, you were so young when you came into the league. Who was your mentor?
So when I came into the league, Boris was my mentor. But then I hang out most of the time with Boris, Eduardo Najera, and Matt Kerr, and they were all like in their 30s. Now I was just 19 years old. Mm-hmm. But they had so much to tell me about the league, and I wanted to listen to so much that I didn't know.
Every day?
Every day. At home and on the road, I was hanging out with Boris. Mm-hmm. And then obviously on the road, we hang out with all three of them. We'll go to dinner, but the more they talk, the more I could learn about the league itself. So, and I don't, to me, when I go back and look at my first year, without Boris, Eddie, and Matt, just, their experience and them talking about what they have been through in the league, I don't think I'll be able to turn into the veterans I've turned into, Although I had the wisdom, although I had the leadership, but it was so much missing the way you deliver your message, and the way you interact with others, and the way you interact with front office, coaches. Like, overseas is so different from here, so you have to adapt. And I think at the end of the day, that was very helpful to me. And that's why, I think it became a big emphasis for us, even with the union, and to put a big emphasis on having a good veterans, but quality of veterans are very important in the league.
I wanted to talk about the NBPA a little bit. I mean, not really. You've done so much work off the court as well, and the NBPA has a big part of that, mm-hmm. but you also, like, back home in the Congo have done so much. I know just a couple years ago, like, you pledged your entire salary, right, to build mm-hmm. a hospital back home. How special is it for you to be able to make the difference of people back home?
I think it's special. Why is it special? I mm-hmm. think, when you come from a place like that, I know what it feels like to live in those conditions, because I was once one of those kids. I know the sacrifice that my parents have to make in order for me to even chase my dream. But at the same time, you know, I think if there's one thing that perhaps my mom or my dad have done for me is to be able to trust me that I could pursue my dream and allow me to fail. And if I do fail,
Yeah, you were a baby when you left home.
Yes. So, but they trusted me. You can chase your dreams, and if you do fail, you come back home and you study, and we never talk about basketball again. And I've always admired that. So when my dad passed away, you know, I went back and forth like, well, what could possibly be a gift that will go for generation, that will at least people continue to cherish him because, you know, he trusts me before the world could know who I was going to become. So I thought it was good to pledge my salary. Plus, it was during the time where I kind of went away from the game and just trying to heal emotionally and then reconnect with my family. It was new responsibility that I was taking over my family. So just transitioning into that role, and then to me it was the right thing to do because, you know, when I came to the league, our passion and dreams with my dad was, can we help one kids? You know, can I take one kid out of Congo and then, you know, bring him in the U.S. and allow him to be successful?
Like just change one person's life.
Just one person. And we have done over 70 kids now, but the desire was one kid's. And, you know, when I pledged my salary, is with the same ideas of saying, you know, I can't save 1,000 of people's life, but if I could do one, I think I'd be happy with that. So that was where the desire of doing that come from. One, as a gift, and two, is to try to see how many lives can we save with that. And if we can at least somewhat leave the world a better place than we found it, then we've done our job.
Yeah. Obviously the hospital is not just for kids, but you do so much work with kids, right?
Correct.
So I saw an interview from a while ago and you were talking about how when you were growing up you were playing soccer or basketball and you were like barefoot or in dress shoes.
Correct.
Now with all the kids that you've had throughout like your foundation, the schools, the camps, all of this, what do you want to be different from what you didn't have to what you want the kids in Congo to have now?
So one, you know, when I started giving kids scholarships to come to the U.S., it was like, to me, a dream come true because it was always like, you know, I had to go from Congo to Yemen and then to Spain and then get to the U.S. How can I short the path for these kids, and how can I give them opportunities, and how can we equip them with just enough to say, well, they can succeed while seeing the mother and brothers and uncles. So as we were giving scholarships to kids to come to the U.S., then we had a desire to start building schools. So our passion was, can we build a school as nice as the school here in the U.S., where kids will watch it on TV and say, wow, that's a beautiful school. It's okay, I'll go to the same school in my neighborhood. So then our desire was, you know, I didn't get a chance to go to a school as nice, but can we build something that nice for the kids?
So the next generation has it.
For the next generation. So how can we equip them? So, and to me, I think that the desire comes from, you know, when you leave your home to chase your dreams, there's a sacrifice you gotta make, which in my situation was the sacrifice of at least spending, you know, from the age of 16 up until maybe the 24, 25, you lose like maybe 8 to 9 years of times away from your family while you're chasing your dreams. Now, can I give an opportunity? God has allowed me to have and, you know, meet so many great people, and He has put the right people along the journey. There's clearly a reason why God has put me in certain situations. So how can I turn that blessing into blessing other people? How can I produce different Bismacks, not just Bismack that play basketball. I wanna transform, you know, followers into like real leaders, because I think the next generation gonna do better than us, to be honest. But we have to equip them with the necessary that would allow them to do so. And just like kids, every time I go home, I see kids. Kids just want to be kids, but we have to create an environment that would allow them to be kids, you know. So every time I go home, you know, you start having more and more ideas and what else can we do? So, but that's really where the school idea came from. Let's build the first school, let's see how it goes. And thankfully our school has been up and running for a few years now. We're under construction for a second school. Hopefully we finish in the next few years. It's bigger. And we just keep the train rolling.
I know, schools, hospitals, scholarships.
It's good. I think it's good, because initially for me it was like, we're gonna start basketball camps. But like I say, every time you go home, you see there's needs and you start diving into new stuff. Then it was, can we build schools? We build schools. And then before even building hospitals, we were refurbishing hospitals and clinics. And then we're just donating medical equipment. And then it was like, okay, what can we just build?
That's like the next step.
And what's the next step for us? Can we just build? And again, God has been so amazing to me that I think, you know, the best way to at least honor my dads, you know, and be thankful to God is to lift up others in need. So I don't know, I feel good. It's a great feeling that you can never explain when you get a text message of somebody that was born in the clinics, you know, that you're refurbished, or somebody that got treated, you know. So, but you receive all these messages. It's very fulfilling that, you know, I'm grateful to be in this position.
That brings me to my next question then. There was a quote that I read. You said, we will all die. The goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will. What do you want your legacy to be?
You know, I say that because, you know, every time I look at the blessings that I've had of being gifted as an athlete, and there is so many great athletes that comes along, and eventually people forget about those that came before. So I think this is before we start building the schools and everything. It's like...
You remember saying this?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I was like, man, I think if we get to build, it was actually just a desire and a dream where I was like, you know, it would be great to build something. Like, you see all these buildings, they stay here for a long time, for years. We're gonna leave, you know, and then the next generation comes. And I was like, man, I think maybe the goal is actually not to live forever, but to leave something behind that will live forever. I get passing along into the next generations, and then the next one's gonna come and say, you know, maybe we can refurbish, make it look good again, but we can still use it. So that's why, you know, I thought that was important. But at the same time, you know, we all get to do this because we just want to figure a way to contribute to society and make sure that at least we don't live it the same way we found it, you know. I think so many people have struggled in order for, you know, and I've pushed hard to change the narrative, you know, in order for you and I to be here, in order for us to be playing basketball, you know. So because so many people have pushed that, it's almost like, can I also push in different areas? Can I change the way people do things, you know? And obviously for us, when we start building like schools back home, it was, can we also change the mentality of the way people build schools? Can we give them something new that now everybody can grab onto it? Like, yeah, I want to build something like that too. Now, if we can have 10 great schools like this, if we can educate our, like this generation, the country gonna be in so much better shape in the next 10, 15 years. But we all the kids want to get out. I just want to give them a reason to stay home.
Ooh, that was nice. I'm gonna end it by bringing it kind of more short-term / local. You're talking about being, like, leaving something better than you found it. Talking about having Boris kind of teach you the way of the NBA. Because you are an older guy on a younger team who's been around, and you are a leader, even though you don't talk to them every day. What lessons, what legacy do you want to leave with some of the younger guys? Like, when they, 10 years from now, are talking about the vets that they had, and you're one of them, what do you want to leave them with?
Discipline.
That was easy.
Discipline, consistency, and reputation. These things will carry you along the way, far beyond basketball. Family responsibilities, business responsibilities. These three things, I've lived by it, and I continue to live by it. I was away from the game. I could have easily forget about training consistently. I could have easily not have discipline, but that also stand on my reputation, you know. And today I was working out, you know, one of the coaches say, you know, when we were signing you, I called 2 scouts. You know what they told me? They say, one thing Biz is not going to do is show up out of shape. Reputation. So your reputation will carry you along the way. And I think that's the consistency of my message with the young guys. Because at the end of the day, you know, you're just starting your career. And what you want to do is, whenever you decide to say, okay, I'm done, I can walk away, you could walk away with a good feeling out of it, that nobody will ever have anything bad to say about you, you know, and that you are very positive, and you always have to be positive, and all these other things I say, it's fun. It's fun to also live by it, I think. You can't just preach things, you have to live by it, and I live by those things, so. Discipline, consistency, reputation. Yeah, and the biggest thing to hand with, faith. And faith. Yeah, God is great. God is great. Thanks, Biz. All right, thank you. I appreciate you. We're good? We're good. Perfect.